Suresh Kumar Chandwani. Video has been prepared from textbook of CBSE so that students can have strong foundation for preparation science subject for class 11 and class 12 G exams, first year science and engineering. सीबीएसई पाठ्य पुस्तक से तैयार किया गया है ताकि छात्रों को कक्षा 11 और कक्षा 12 के लिए साइंस विषय और जेईई परीक्षा प्रथम वर्ष विज्ञान और इंजीनियरिंग की तैयारी के लिए मजबूत आधार हो. You should study these short notes before start of a chapter by your class teacher in class. Finish after chapter by your class teacher in class. During your revisions. Just before tests and exams. Draw diagrams. This will help you to score high. For doubts, WhatsApp me on 9713955480. Respiration. Question 1. What is a respiration? Answer. A. The process of releasing energy from food is called respiration. B. The process of respiration involves taking in oxygen of air into the cells, using it for releasing energy by burning food, and then eliminating the waste products, carbon dioxide and water, from the body. C. Food and oxygen gives carbon dioxide and water plus energy. Question 2. Explain cellular respiration. Answer. The process of respiration which releases energy takes place inside the cells of the body. So, it is also known as cellular respiration. Question 3. To keep organism alive, what is essential? Answer. Respiration is essential for life because it provides energy for carrying out all the life processes which are necessary to keep the organism alive. Question 4. What is breathing and respiration? Answer. Respiration. Respiration includes breathing as well as the oxidation of food in the cells of the organism to release energy. Question 5. Explain mitochondria of the cells. Answer. Respiration includes physical as well as biochemical process of oxidation of food. The process of respiration involves the lungs and mitochondria of the cells. Question 6. Explain breathing. Answer. The mechanism by which organisms obtain oxygen from the air and release carbon dioxide is called breathing. Breathing is a physical process. Question 7. How energy released during respiration is stored? Question 8. What is energy currency? Answer. A. The energy produced during respiration is stored in the form of ATP molecules in the cells of the body and used by the organism as when required. B. ADP, adenosine diphosphate, low energy content, inorganic phosphate by, and ATP, adenosine triphosphate, high energy content are the substances present inside a cell. C. The energy released during respiration is used to make ATP molecules form ADP and inorganic phosphate. D. Thus energy is stored in the form of ATP. ADP plus phosphate plus energy gives ATP. A. When the cell needs energy, then ATP can be broken down using water to release energy. ATP gives ADP plus phosphate plus energy. The energy equivalent of 30.5 kilojoules per mole is released in this process. ATP is known as energy currency of cells. Question 9. Explain types of respiration. Answer. In most of the cases, the organisms carry out respiration by using oxygen. There are, however, some organisms which carry out respiration without using oxygen. Based on this, we have two types respiration. 1. Aerobic respiration. 2. Anaerobic respiration. Question 10. Explain aerobic respiration. Answer. A. The respiration which uses oxygen is called aerobic respiration. B. In aerobic respiration, the glucose food is completely broken down into carbon dioxide and water by oxidation. C. Aerobic respiration produces a considerable amount of energy for use by the organism which gets stored in the ATP molecules. D. Glucose gives pyruvate further gives 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O plus 38 ATP. A. Mitochondria are the sites of aerobic respiration in the cells. F. Thus, the breakdown of pyruvate to give carbon dioxide, water and energy takes place in mitochondria. Question 11. Explain anaerobic respiration. Answer. The respiration which takes place without oxygen is called anaerobic respiration. Question 12. Explain fermentation. Answer. The microscopic organisms like yeast and some bacteria obtain energy by anaerobic respiration, which is called fermentation. In anaerobic respiration, the microorganisms like yeast break down glucose food into ethanol and carbon dioxide and release energy. Question 13. Where pyruvate is converted into lactic acid. Answer. Anaerobic respiration produces much less energy which gets stored in the ATP molecules. Sometimes, when there is lack of oxygen in our muscle cells, another pathway for the breakdown of pyruvate is taken. Here the pyruvate is converted into lactic acid, which is also a 3-carbon molecule, with the release of small amount of energy. Question 14. What plants do in case of respiration? Answer. Like animals, plants also need energy. The plants get this energy by the process of respiration. Plants also use oxygen of air for respiration and release carbon dioxide. Question 15. In what way respiration in plants differs from the animals? Answer. The respiration in plants differs from the animals in 3 respects. Plants get oxygen by diffusion. Plants have a branching shape, so they have quite a large surface area in comparison to their volume. Therefore, diffusion alone can supply all the cells of the plants with as much oxygen as they need for respiration. Diffusion occurs in the roots, stems and leaves of plants. Question 16. Explain respiration in roots. Answer. A. Air occurs in soil interspaces. Root hairs of the roots are in direct contact with them. B. Oxygen of the soil air diffuses through root hair and reaches all internal cells of the root for respiration. C. Carbon dioxide produced by root cells diffuses in the opposite direction. D. In waterlogged conditions, soil air becomes deficient. In the absence of oxygen, metabolic activity of the root declines and the plant may wither. Question 17. Explain respiration in stems. Answer. The stems of herbaceous plants have stomata. The oxygen from air diffuses into the stem of a herbaceous plant through stomata and reaches all the cells for respiration. The carbon dioxide gas produced during respiration diffuses out into the air through the same stomata. In woody stems, the bark has lenticels for gaseous exchange. Question 18. Explain respiration in leaves during the daytime and during the night time. Answer. A. The leaves of a plant have tiny pores called stomata. The exchange of respiratory gases in the leaves takes place by the process of diffusion through stomata. B. Net gaseous exchange in the leaves of the plant. C. During daytime, when photosynthesis occurs, oxygen is produced. The leaves use some of this oxygen for respiration and rest of the oxygen diffuses out into air. D. Again, during the daytime, carbon dioxide produced by respiration is all used up in photosynthesis by leaves. Even more carbon dioxide is taken in from air. A. Dust net gas exchange in leaves during daytime as O2 diffuses out. CO2 diffuses in. F. At night time, when no photosynthesis occurs and hence no oxygen is produced, oxygen from air diffuses into leaves to carry out respiration. G. And carbon dioxide produced by respiration diffuses out into air. Dust net gas exchange in leaves at night as O2 diffuses in. CO2 diffuses out. Question 19. All the respiratory organs have three common features. Explain. Answer. A. All the respiratory organs have a large surface area to get enough oxygen. B. All the respiratory organs have thin walls for easy diffusion and exchange of respiratory gases. C. All the respiratory organs like skin, gills, and lungs have a rich blood supply for transporting respiratory gases. D. Terrestrial animals can breathe the oxygen in the atmosphere, but animals that live in water, aquatic animals, need to use the oxygen dissolved in water. A. Since the amount of dissolved oxygen is fairly low compared to the amount of oxygen in the air, the rate of breathing in aquatic organisms is much faster than that seen in terrestrial organisms. Question 20. Explain respiration in amoeba. Answer. A. Amoeba is single-celled animal. Amoeba depends on simple diffusion of gases from breathing. B. The exchange of gases in amoeba takes place through its cell membrane. C. Amoeba lives in water. Thus water has oxygen dissolved in it. The oxygen from water diffuses into the body of amoeba through its cell membrane. D. Since the amoeba is very small in size, so the oxygen spreads quickly into the whole body of amoeba. A. Thus oxygen is used for respiration inside the amoeba cell. The process of respiration produces carbon dioxide gas continuously. F. Thus carbon dioxide gas diffuses out through the membrane of amoeba into the surrounding water. Question 21. Explain respiration in earthworm. Answer. The earthworm exchanges the gases through its skin. The earthworm absorbs the oxygen as needed for respiration through its moist skin. The oxygen is then transported to all the cells of the earthworm by its blood where it is used in respiration. The carbon dioxide produced during respiration is carried back by the blood. The CO2 is expelled from the body of the earthworm through its skin. Question 22. Explain respiration in fish. Answer. A. The fish has special organs for breathing called gills. The fish has gills on both the sides of its head. B. The fish lives in water and thus water contains dissolves oxygen in it. The fish breathes by taking in water through its mouth and sending it over the gills. C. When water passes over gills, the gills extract dissolved oxygen from this water. The water then goes out through the gill slits. D. The extracted oxygen is absorbed by the blood and carried to all the parts of the fish. A. The carbon dioxide produced by the respiration is brought back by the blood into the gills for expelling into the surrounding water. F. Note, diffusion is insufficient to meet the oxygen requirements of large multicellular organisms like humans because the volume of human body is so big that oxygen cannot diffuse into all the cells of the human body quickly. Question 23. Explain respiratory system in humans. Answer A. In human beings, many organs take part in the process of respiration. These organs are called organs of respiratory system. B. The main organs of human respiratory system are nose, nasal passage, trachea, windpipe, bronchi, lungs and diaphragm. C. The human respiratory system begins from the nose. D. The air then goes into nasal passage. The nasal passage is lined with fine hair and mucus. A. When air passes through the nasal passage, the dust particles and other impurities present in it are trapped by nasal hair and mucus so that clean air goes into lungs. F. The part of throat between the mouth and windpipe is called pharynx. G. From the nasal passage, air enters into pharynx and then goes into the windpipe. H. Trachea does not collapse even when there is no air in it because it is supported by rings of soft bones called cartilage. I. The trachea runs down the neck and divides into two smaller tubes called bronchi at its lower end. J. The bronchi are connected to the two lungs. The lungs lie in the chest cavity or thoracic cavity which is separated from abdominal cavity by a muscular partition called diaphragm. K. Each bronchus divides in the lungs to form a large number of still smaller tubes called bronchioles. L. The pouch-like air sacs at the ends of the smallest bronchioles are called alveoli. M. The walls of alveoli are very thin and they are surrounded by very thin blood capillaries. N. It is in the alveoli that gaseous exchange takes place. Question 24. What is the mechanism of respiration? Explain alveoli. Answer A. When we breathe in, we lift our ribs and flatten our diaphragm. And the chest cavity becomes larger as a result. Because of this, air is sucked into the lungs and fills the expanded alveoli. B. The alveoli are surrounded by thin blood vessels called capillaries carrying blood in them. So, the oxygen of air diffuses out from the alveoli walls into the blood. C. The oxygen is carried by blood to all the parts of the body. As the blood passes through the tissues of the body, the oxygen present in it diffuses into the cells. D. The oxygen combines with the digested food present in the cells to release energy. A. Carbon dioxide gas is produced as a waste product during respiration in the cells of the body tissues. Thus carbon dioxide diffuses into the blood. F. Blood carries the CO2 back to the lungs where it diffuses into the alveoli. G. When we breathe out air, the diaphragm and muscles attached to the ribs relax due to which our chest cavity contracts and becomes smaller. This contraction movement of the chest pushes out CO2 from the alveoli of lungs into the trachea, nostrils then out of the body into air. H. Note, during the breathing cycle, when air is taken in and let out, the lungs always contain a residual volume of air so that there is sufficient time for oxygen to be absorbed and for the carbon dioxide to be released. I. Carbon dioxide is more soluble in water than oxygen is and hence is mostly transported in the dissolved form in our blood. Question 25. Explain the rate of breathing. Answer. The process of breathing pumps in oxygen into our body and removes CO2. Breathing occurs involuntarily, but the rate of breathing is controlled by the respiratory system of brain. The average breathing rate in an adult man at rest is about 15 to 18 times per minute. Does breathing rate increases with increased physical activity? Question 26. Explain relation between oxygen and hemoglobin pigment. Answer. Oxygen required for breathing and respiration is carried by hemoglobin pigment present in our blood. The normal range of hemoglobin in the blood of a healthy adult person is from 12 to 18 grams per deciliter of blood. The deficiency of hemoglobin in the blood of a person reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of blood, resulting in breathing problems, tiredness, and lack of energy. Question 27. Carbon monoxide poisoning. Explain this. Answer. A. Carbon monoxide gas CO is formed whenever a fuel burns in an insufficient supply of air. For car engine. For example, if coal is burned in a closed space, then a lot of carbon monoxide is formed. CO produced when petrol burns in a car engine. B. Hemoglobin has more affinity for carbon monoxide than oxygen. C. So, if carbon monoxide gas is inhaled by a person, then this carbon monoxide binds very strongly with hemoglobin in the blood and prevents it from carrying oxygen to the brain and other parts of the body. D. Due to lack of oxygen, the person cannot breathe properly. Thank you. If you like, then press like button. Loaded by personal tutor on YouTube.